this morning and this evening to this webinar, which is with SANGHA Retreat. And I'm very, very excited to have Debbie Misajon. Thrilled to have you here with us. And I want to let everyone know that Debbie is actually right now in China at SANGHA. So she's living and breathing it as we speak. And so today we want to talk a little bit about this particular post-summit journey. So Debbie, why don't you just tell us a little bit? Sangha's brand new, so most people are not familiar with it. So why don't you just give us a little background and introduction?
Sure. So SANGHA Retreat is a really just spectacular property. It's about an hour and a half away from Shanghai. It's located on a massive lake outside of the town called Suzhou, and Suzhou is and has been known as the Venice of the East. It is a beautiful town with loads of things to see and do. It's actually very charming. You can visit the canals, which has stunning bridges and wonderful shops and cobblestone streets. And that's all very nearby, maybe within 30 minutes, 40 minutes. The property itself is wonderful. It opened about 2 years ago to the domestic market. We're really excited to offer this to guests traveling to Global Wellness Summit and to come out and see us.
Well, I think one of the most exciting things, I should say that I have had the good fortune to work with the Global Wellness Summit for a very long time. I actually have been involved in one way or another since its inception. And one of the really, really fun things that we try to do is expose delegates to new properties. So to have an opportunity to go someplace that really, and although Sangha, as you said, has been open to the domestic market for 2 years, right. Really, I would venture to say that it's accurate to say that almost no international travelers have been there yet, because you're just now doing that. So this is going to be a great opportunity for those who want to be sort of the first to see something.
Fred Chow is the founder and visionary of the property, and he's been really keen on making it all work before setting out for bigger fish and a bigger pond. And what's exciting about it is really the integrative, holistic approach to wellness has been almost surreal. The things that we do here, the scale on which we do them, it's extraordinary, and I'm excited to share it with the international markets.
Well, great. So really the international market is everybody. So, but I would like to, I'm glad you brought up Mr. Chow. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I know that this is his personal vision that is coming to fruition. I also know that we'll be fortunate enough to have him as a keynote speaker at the Global Wellness Summit. Right. But can you tell me a little bit about his vision of wellness?
His dream is that there's just a higher consciousness, not being in life for financial gain and other gain, but truly to create integrative wellness within ourselves, within our families, and even within our business and communities. And that's been his dream. And so he set off, it probably started about 10 years ago. And he began to have visions of this sort of extraordinary community. Mm-hmm. So on Sangha, for example, it is a 47-acre property, just outside this UNESCO World Heritage Site of Suzhou. And everything that went into the architecture and the planning, the programming, the spa, the clinic, everything has been so thought through. It's been pretty incredible because it's been his personal financing and his personal dream.
Wow. And is it, do you happen to know, I can't wait to actually meet him personally, but do you happen to know if he had visited other places or had other wellness experiences that formed this?
Yeah, so that wasn't really the beginning of the passion project for him, but since realizing the breadth of wellness and the integration, he started to visit all of the long list in our comp set, and I think that that's sort of how this place came to be, is through his vision of transforming people and businesses and families across the world, and then seeing how it's executed at different properties and in different spaces, different
Sure.
countries. And you can find, it's interesting because when you walk around here, and a lot of people do, they're like, that reminds me of, that feels like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of this place that comes from a lot of other places, albeit an incredible architectural beauty, award-winning, spectacular property. There are a lot of elements that you feel and sense that this man's traveled a few places.
Yes, I always find that very interesting. I love, one of the common threads, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's different about the Sangha post-summit journey versus some of our others, but one common thread is this very personal vision of individuals. And I know that during the post-summit, the delegates are going to hopefully have the opportunity to meet Fred. I'm going to call him Fred now. We're going to be on first name.
Please stop.
And they're going to get the opportunity, yes, to meet him, to get to learn more about his vision and how it came to be, which I think is really critical. But so I'm glad you also brought up community, because I happen to know that Sangha is it a Sanskrit word for community? Is that correct?
Yes, it is. So it's a Sanskrit word for community. And what you'll find when you come here, what we're sharing initially with this project to the outside markets is what we call At One. So it is 8 villa homes that you can rent. It's a 60-room luxury or 60-suite luxury property. It's a 64,500 square foot spa, and it's a clinic. So that's the part that we're really sharing with everyone right now. There's much more to it, and you can take long 5-mile walks around the property. Your exercise and passing bamboo forests and other things within the property,
which we all know is very healing, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Well, so then that's a perfect sort of transition, Debbie. Let's talk a little bit about the post-summit. Just for everybody so that they know, the dates are October 17th to October 21st. I think you already said that we'll be going to Shanghai, and from Shanghai, you all will be transferring us to Sangha, and we will all be staying in suites because you're an all-suite property. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about some of the things we might do during the course of the post-summit.
Yeah. So the property itself, again, it's a massive property. And so you'll fly to Shanghai, which is just under 2.5 hours. And then we'll pick you up there, and the transfer should be about 1.5 hours. You'll come across a beautiful lake, and you'll see the property sort of splayed out across this lake, which is really wonderful. The atmosphere is quite lovely. But on the property itself, for example, in our spa, we have a phenomenal hydrothermal circuit, which everyone's invited to use on a complimentary basis. You can select from the enormous menu of treatments and everything else that you'd like to participate in. But
I do want to add that some treatments are included. So everybody, for everyone, we can, obviously we're making the itinerary is available for all delegates that have registered, so you can see exactly. But I do want to say that, a wonderful rebirth massage is part of this, and a few other goodies. So, but of course you can, do spa treatments all day long, I guess, if you want.
All day long. You can literally start all day long. I love to get up in the morning, and if I can, if I'm hosting guests or I have clients in town, I'll get up and we'll start our morning with a meditation dome, a healing sound dome. And this is really one of the most, for me, exceptional experiences here. It's this beautiful dome with a big skylight. And in the center of it sits our practitioner, and she sings, she chants, she has healing bowls, and it's the continuity and the way that the sound travels throughout this space is so amazing. I mean, we've had some really incredible responses to it. One from one of our partners who just sat up afterwards, because we were doing a chakra cleansing, sat up and said, did anyone else see all those colors? And you're like, what? Like, it was
I
pretty
think that, you know,
great.
that's one of the things that I know, you know, that people just love so much, especially since all of us have in common that we're in the wellness business, is having
Right.
the kind of transformative experiences. And of course, the
Yeah.
Sound Dome healing,
Sounds
I believe,
amazing.
is part of the private sound dome healing, I believe, is part of what we'll be doing. I want to talk, of course, one of my favorite aspects of any wellness journey is the cuisine. And I'm very
Oh,
struck
yeah.
by the fact that you have a 2 Michelin star chef, being that I'm a very big foodie, and there may be others, but tell me a little bit about chef and the kind of food and you know, what that experience might be like.
Yeah, so I just approved his bio. As you know, we're new and we're just rolling this out. But he was at Cake Bread in Napa. So a lot of people go, "Oh, I know that place," and you know that makes sense to me. We source nearly all of our fresh fruit, vegetable, everything else from an organic garden about an hour from here, 45 minutes from here, and all of the menus in general, which we'll be experiencing, will be set menus, which he'll determine for us, unless, of course, there are food allergies and everything else. Those are all completely taken care of in any dietary restrictions are taken care of in your questionnaire. So we'll know what you can and can't eat. But he's going to be creating menus that we want everyone to experience that are really like any other guest. And we'll have the team visiting and we can ask questions and you can learn much more from our practitioners, from our spa director, um, from our medical director. You can meet everyone while you're here dining. But the food itself is divine. Always much more than
Is
I
it
think.
Chinese or is it Asian? Is it European? Is it, you know, how would you say, is it fusion or just good,
Yeah,
healthy organic food?
I would almost say that it's potentially fusion, but it's really just this incredible clean eating. I can't even barely describe it. Tonight's dinner was like this incredible tuna tartare, and then the next was this brilliant cod, and the cod was encrusted in something that I couldn't put my finger on. I'm from Hawaii, and so I asked the chef, "What was that amazing crust?" And he's like, "That was macadamia nut crust." I'm like, "That's crazy. I don't like macadamia nuts." So it was really this incredible meal.
Well,
Um,
I'm very excited about the food. I do want to emphasize at this point because it's very hard to cover everything,
right.
you know, in a webinar. But I know that one aspect, and I do think it's important that we get this across, is the personalization. So, you know, I want
Yeah.
everybody to understand that this experience, this post-summit experience, is going to be, you know, although it's a 4-night experience, in those 4 nights, I think it's, I'm accurate in saying that a good portion of your stay is going to be personalized to you. So what I'll be doing at Sangha might be different than, let's say, what Debbie is doing or what John is doing, or, you know, because each one of us is going to have a consultation and our program will be personalized to.
That's absolutely correct. So we welcome all of our guests. There is just looking for a little list to provide you. If I can find it, I will.
That's okay.
So
No worries.
every guest arrives and has a medical assessment in our clinic,
Yes.
and it you know we'll send you the questionnaire, which is sort of assessment light. It'll ask you you know areas of your body that are holding stress, or if you're curious in a if you're curious for a detox. I mean, all of these things will be sort of leading up to that assessment, but then we'll actually put you through an assessment, and you'll be taken in and fill out another questionnaire that's a little bit more in depth at the clinic, and then you'll be led through a series of tests. We
That sounds
have
intimidating. Is that as
no,
intimidating as it
it's not
sounds?
intimidating.
Okay, so tell us,
It's
for those of us who hear the word test and get nervous, I think
yeah, well, no, I mean, just to, just to test
assessments.
your, yeah,
Yeah.
just it's assessment light. And
Yeah.
what's really, really charming is what I find charming is that, true, it could be a little bit scary or heavy sounding. But the team here is equally afraid of you because they have been practicing, right? They've been practicing on domestic, and they've been using primarily Chinese. They speak English, but they're a little bit shy, and it really actually lightens up the whole thing that you're doing. So you go through the assessment, and then later in the day, you'll be delivered. You'll also have scheduled a time to come back to meet with the doctor to go over your assessment. And if things come up, it might be something, you may mention you're unhappy about your weight, or you'd like to lose weight, or whatever that is, right? And so he'll or she will look through your assessment, make some recommendations for you. So each person who uses the fitness center meets first with the director there, and our equipment is all German therapeutic equipment. So each machine is specifically made to suit your needs, if that specifically dialed into, and you get a card with that. And so the card makes the machine adjust to what's going to work best for you.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll go through all those sorts of things, and they'll recommend, if you are talking about weight loss or something else, we'll talk if it's recommended that you see a nutritionist. We have a nutritionist on staff. She can sit with you and say, you might love the salty pretzels all day long, but how about trying this instead, or this snack instead, or have you considered this? We have a life coach on staff. If you're feeling stressed about something in your personal life or in your business, you can spend time with the life coach. And then, every day we have a series of scheduled activities that everyone can take advantage of while they're in town.
So I
So
also
it'll be really fun. It's very active.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I mean, this is definitely a fully immersive wellness experience. For those of us who have either traveled extensively and had the good fortune to have a lot of wellness experiences, and those who have not, I think that it's important to emphasize that you do both Eastern traditional Chinese medicine as well as Western. And so this is a blend. So we are going to experience traditional Chinese medicine as well as other forms of practice. I think that there's a very strong interest. Many people have not experienced traditional Chinese medicine. So I am certain that at SANGHA, you're going to have a very extraordinary traditional Chinese medicine experience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you are, certain types of tea are recommended to improve your health. I mean, and we talk about that in the US, but here it's actually part of their science. And so it's fascinating. And then
even how the diagnosis is done with the tongue. And I mean, I haven't had your specific assessment or been through, your exact medical, how that is done. But I happen to know from other experiences that the way traditional Chinese medicine is practiced is very different than the way Western medicine is practiced. And, for everyone who doesn't know that, I think that's going to be an extraordinary experience. And for those who experienced it, I'm guessing you're taking it to the next level so that, this will be, a cut above. I know we don't have a lot of time, but another part that you talked about briefly, but I want to make sure everyone understands, is that in this 4-night, 4-day experience, we will have the opportunity, we will be going as a group to Suzhou. And that is something that is different about this pre or post summit journey than others, is that we will have a cultural experience. And I think that that is going to be a very special day. I know that it's a half a day. I know that we're going to have a culinary experience. We are going to go to some very special gardens. We are going to wander the cobblestone road streets and see the canals and really have that, wonderful cultural experience. Is there anything you want to add about that visit?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that Suzhou, being a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a tertiary almost location to visit for many, a lot of afterthoughts. There's not a lot of tourism. It's a really cool exchange. It's it's not Bhutan in the 80s, but it's very, very fresh. And there's just a lot to do in this really sweet area that's historic and wonderful and just so rich. I can't wait to show all that to you.
From all the reading I've done, it definitely sounds like a must-visit place that a lot of,
Right.
certainly, I would say, as an American, not a lot of Americans get to. So I think that's going to be very special.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
Debbie, we have
it's
just a
off the
moment or
path.
two left. What would you like to end with? Is there anything else that you think that you have not shared that we should know?
I would just like to share that this is an extraordinary vision come to life for a man who has the biggest, most authentic heart, who, being the fourth generation chairman of a family business, could have invested billions in anything else. And his heart and head and soul told him to build this place and bring it to people to make a change in their well-being. So um, that alone was, enough for me to say, yes, I'll take the job. It's an extraordinary place, and he's an extraordinary man, and I really hope to welcome everyone here.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And I
thank
will
you.
just say that, that we're happy to provide the itineraries for those who are
Thank you.
interested. I will personally be hosting this trip. So, I am very excited about this. And I would just want to thank everybody and hope to see you at Sangha.